Time to welcome in Maderas Director of Instruction, Mayson. Chris was recently named one of Golf Digest's best young teachers in America. Applause for that. Chris, now I know you've been watching this tournament all week with a keen eye. Beside the fact that Jason Day shoots the lowest 74 hole score combined, why else did he win this year's Farmers Insurance Open?
Jason Day's been working really hard in the off-season. I have from my sources that he's been in Palm Springs practicing really hard there. And he's just got a really good game for Torrey Pines. He hits extremely far, very straight, and obviously putted really well this week, so deserved winner. And
I believe he was #1 overall in driving distance as well?
Yeah, I believe so. Actually, all four guys that were in the playoff all hit it over 300 yards, average over 300 yards this week, which is enormous, and obviously a huge help around a mammoth golf course like Torrey Pines.
All right, now I want to hit the way back time machine to Friday when we had a UT golf writer Todd Leonard joining Paul Rudy as our guest, and he picked the following person to win the tournament. Listen to this.
But we don't give you two choices. Who's going to win the tournament?
Jason Day.
All right, you're on record. Man, we'll play the heck out of it if you're right on Monday.
Now, congratulations to Todd on picking him on Friday, but on Tuesday, somebody wrote a blog and also picked Jason Day. Do you know who that guy was?
That was me.
Could you tell just by his game that he was, you know, one of these guys for Torrey Pines that was going to be successful?
Yeah, I was out on Tuesday with Brendan Steele, my student. We were playing with Keegan Bradley and Camilo Villegas, and we saw Jason Day out there. He looked really focused, just had his caddy and his coach with him. You know, obviously, he's got a great game for Torrey Pines, and I just felt like, being a long hitter, that it would be a great golf course for him.
Now, I know Torrey Pines is preparing for another U.S. Open, but watching this final round unfold, as Peter Costas mentioned, was like watching another major. Was this course a little too difficult for a regular PGA Tour stop?
You know, I wonder if they're trying to test out the conditions for the U.S. Open coming up again. The fairways were extremely narrow, rough was very thick and very long, and you're really just pitching out when you got into it. So greens were hard and fast, and obviously that tells in the scores.
I want to go back to a question that I had before this about J.B. Holmes. J.B. Holmes on 18 was sitting there in the middle of the green, been driving great. He can go 2 to the pin on 18 and just go for an easy win in the backside bunker. Instead, he chooses to lay up. Do you think that was the right decision?
Well, he's probably regretting it now, obviously, but I can only assume that either he was nervous or didn't have a very good number to the pin, and then felt like maybe if he just laid up and had an easy wedge shot in, he could use the back slope and bring it back to the hole.
How do you make that decision there? I mean,
a lot of it is on nerves, and if he had 235 yards for his second shot, which is not a big number, it's probably just a big 3-iron for him. But if that wasn't a very good number for him, then he probably felt like he would have put it in the back bunker, which is really not a very good spot.
Okay, now let's shift gears a little bit. I know CBS was bummed that neither Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson made the final weekend, and the last 2 weeks I watched them, and it's just I kind of think back when I was a kid and watching the great rivalry of Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus as it came to an end. Is that like Tiger and Phil right now?
It doesn't seem very good for either of them at the moment, does it? Obviously, Tiger's 39, Phil's in his 40s. It just seems like golf's not really a priority for either of them. Tiger seems to be chasing his new girlfriend around the world, and he's got limited custody of his kids, so he's got limited time with them. So it seems like practice is a bit of is non-existent for him at the moment. And you know, this is the kind of game where the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And we know now that Phil has been changing his schedule to suit his kids' school schedule, and it just seems like it's not a priority for either of them, and that's showing in their game.
Well, with that being said, what's made golf so great over the last decade plus is the rivalry between Tiger and Phil. So I got to ask, what's the next great rivalry in golf, or were we just blessed to have, you know, Tiger and Phil?
I think it's very exciting. They've been talking about a changing of the guard for some time, but Tiger hasn't won a major since the 2008 US Open at Torrey. So I think it's happened and long gone. Everyone that I was talking to on the PGA Tour, the players and the caddies this week, just kept sounding out how good Rory McIlroy has got and how he's just leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. In terms of his challengers, I would say you've got Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, and Jason Day. Obviously, Jason won this week, and Ricky had a terrific 2014, finishing in the top 5 on all 4 majors. So those are the young guys coming through, and I think they're looking good for 2015.
With that being said, is it Rory McIlroy and then kind of is playing this time's version of Tiger Woods where he's just head and shoulders better than everybody?
He just seems so focused. He's in his mid-20s now. He's obviously worked on his body a lot and has changed his physique. He's working really, really hard on his golf game. Obviously a wonderful driver of the golf ball. So it just seems that he's really focused and really determined, much like Tiger was in his mid-20s. He doesn't have a whole lot of distractions now, and it seems like he really wants to kind of take on and try and catch Tiger's records.
Now, one of the guys that's played well to start the season is one of the players you tutor, Brendan Steele, who I also won the Torrey Pines Pro-Am with. He's made all 6 cuts and has a second in Palm Desert and 2 top 25s to his credit. What did you do with him?
Well, I've been teaching Brendan for a couple of years. He actually always used the belly putter, has done for about 13 years. And in the middle part of 2014, he decided he wanted to go to the short putter. So it was obviously a pretty daunting experience for him because he was worried about the long putter ban. But he's been putting really, really well since we changed him to the short putter. And obviously that's showing in his results.
And, I mean, do you see this guy winning again? I think he has 1 win in Texas, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think he's very, very confident. He's hitting the ball well, putting well now. So I really think he's due for a win this year, and it can happen for a nicer guy.
That leads us into our next point of talking is going to be the partnership between KUSI and Maderas. Starting in March, we'll start airing the golf tips again with you every Saturday. What can we expect at this round of golf tips?
This round of golf tips, we're going to try and add a little bit of fun to it. Obviously, we had a great time last time and learned some basic fundamentals, but this time we're going to use a few more gadgets and hopefully make it a little easier for the guys at home to replicate that on the range.
And how many people every day say to you, just like that? I'm just curious.
It's a bit of a catchphrase now, for sure.
All right, that brings us to our next piece of video. CBS breaking down Chargers owner Dean Spanos' golf swing with an iron. Let's look at it together, and I want you to give me your analysis of his golf swing and what he can do to improve it.
Sure. Not a swing I would particularly recommend to copy, but as he takes it away here, you can see he gets slightly inside. A lot of that is more flexibility issues more than anything, but obviously hits the ball pretty well. Club gets too far inside and doesn't really turn as he gets to the top. He could do with a lot more turn with his hips and his shoulders. On the way down, he stacks his weight too much on the front foot, and as a result gets his handle way forward. That'll probably result in very low shots. So if he could just turn his weight a little bit more to the right foot, gets head more behind the ball, and I think he'll hit much, much higher, longer shots.
I have a feeling you'll be getting a call from Mr. Spanos here after this whole thing. Well, Chris, your thoughts on this year's Farmers Insurance Open and basically the golf season coming up here?
I think it's a wonderful win for a great young man, Jason Day. I'm looking for him to pick up a first major in 2015. He's got everything that he needs in terms of his game. Hits it long, got a phenomenal golf swing, and I think this is going to be his year. And
I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you think Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson win this year at all?
They will win. I don't see it being a major, though.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, just like that. Chris Mayson. Chris, thank you for coming in. We'll catch up with you soon enough.
Thanks so much for having me.
You got it.